We must open up our minds and take a look inside. That we find we hold all the answers tonight.
You're watching the award-winning RXG exclusive, hosted by award-winning actor and award-winning filmmaker Robert X. Golphin.
Find we hold all the answers tonight.
Julie McKnight, family.
Yes.
I'm privileged to often collaborate with your brothers, my brothers from another mother and Brooks Entertainment on various projects, and you were the presenting executive producer on our experimental digital drama series, The Counterparts, starring myself and the likes of Kristen Gabrielle, daughter of Grammy-nominated Kathy Sledge of Sister Sledge. And Julie, we've known each other for many, many years.
Yeah.
I've lived with your family, but I don't know it all. And neither does anyone else. Yet there are a bevy of opinions out there, rumors constantly circulating, and I'm sure you've had many an offer to star on reality series. But I have to acknowledge the class, dignity, and grace with which you carry yourself as a mother, a house music icon, and former wife of R&B music icon, Brian McKnight. Please tell the viewers about your upcoming memoir, long in the making, called Mama Bear. Why was it important for you to tell your story, your way, and at this time?
First of all, thank you for all of that. You know I cry when the wind blows, but I appreciate you so much. I do. The little uncle and big brother to my boys, DJ and Nico. But you know what? Mama Bear has been in the making for, and honestly, this isn't like I've been working on it forever. No, really, it's taken me. Let's see, BJ's 33, Nico's 30, over 20 years to be able to pick it up and not put it back down, because it was. The book really, really, really comes from the pages of my journals. I mean, directly from them. And I would go back and I would read them. And some of the things would be things that I am a total fan of journaling. It gets it out. You leave it there and you walk away from it. And what Mama Bear has shown me is things that I left there on the page. My mind let go of it. My soul let go of it. My body let go of it. Spirit let go of it. And I kid you not, I read through some of my passages. I dated it all, so I knew exactly the time it was happening. And oh my God, some of the wording, and it just didn't even, it sounded like it was a whole nother somebody, because I was. I mean, Rob, even down to the handwriting, you'll understand this. Some of the handwriting was, and other was kind of slurred. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because that's where I was. So about a year and a half ago, I got to the point. Tour season for me was heavy, so I was spending a lot of time in the airport, a lot of time in hotel rooms, and a lot of time alone. And I'm sure that, like many people, the pandemic hit, which meant my life slowed down. So I was, I never stopped teaching. My center was always open. That was a release for me as well. But I was able to focus and say, I turned my thinking around and said, I'm going to read my journals outside of myself. Like, that's not me. I didn't write those. I don't even remember. I don't even remember some of these things I've written down. And once I was able to kind of, I think dissociate is the wrong word, because I knew it was me, but I was able to sit back and look at it and kind of pull it apart.
An objective you.
That was it. It was me. And the core of it, even through all the stuff, the core of it always came back to my babies, the strength I got from them. And then it moved to situations where then I started to get, develop strength from their baby sister. Then their baby sister, and then I remarried, and he came with 8 babies, and we just became a tribe. And I mean, his youngest, she was 8.5 months, so I learned lessons aside from being a mom that had given birth to babies, that the fact of being a mother, which my grandmother always was, my dad's mommy, she was the mother to hundreds of children through foster care or group home or just other family moms and adults. And I was like, this is what it is. You're a mama just because that's what you are. And even my younger clan that's come through, I learned so many lessons from their moms. Aside from my son's sisters, the moms of, my then husband too. His tribe of kids, I learned from their moms. The struggle of dealing with, here I am. They had to trust me. They didn't know, well, who is this? And, the dynamic that's around a new wife and a stepmom. And I hate the phrase baby mama. I do not like it. These are these children's mother. That's who they are. They are these children's mother. They have the same protection around their babies as I had around mine, but I had to learn to develop a relationship when they were ready, not via my husband, but with the moms and I. And that's the kind of the writing just became about being a mama, because my boys are my saviors and heroes.
Well, and I want to ask you about
Mama Bear is.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because, young people understand the complexities of life far more than others give them credit for. Parents try to hide those hardships. And I know folks need to read your book, but can you tease folks just a little bit about how you and your sons navigated those tougher times together and apart? I'm sure that the dynamics were all over the place.
Oh, and let me tell you, and I am not the one that's going to say you need to go. I'll save that, but no, my bigger mission, not even mission, my passion is, which I didn't even know, was to help parents, moms and dads, and hopefully it trickles down to the babies, that we all work on our own stuff, and at the end of the day make sure that our kids are okay. And you're absolutely right. The difficulty was, I knew that being a mom was just what I was going to do, but I started as a wife and a mother, and never expected that all of a sudden I'd be a single mom. It wasn't in my frame. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I won't be no, that's just not what I was. It just totally blindsided me when the boys and I were asked to leave, because he wanted to choose a different life. And that was column 1. So looking back now, I can see where at the moment I was like, wait a minute, what? And we left. Well, there was no choice because the apartment had already been arranged. We had already, so it was pretty much. That's why I always say, Tyler Perry, you owe me some money, because that whole section of the truck showing up and the whole thing was like, wait a minute. I'm kidding, Tyler. I'm not going to say it, but it
was real.
Where so many people. I was living in a world where I knew we had some things, but we were a young couple. We had 2 kids. We had them early. He's a celebrity. That's what's going on. I had grown up in a household that had always been filled with some type of celebrity or the other. So that didn't faze me. I was totally into being just a wife, not a celebrity wife. I didn't tag myself as that. I was merely a wife. I was merely a mom. I was merely a housewife in the Valley in California, doing what we do. And then suddenly I was told I wasn't. And then I had to find a way to handle that. And I can very honestly tell you, I did not do well at that at first. It was rough. It was rough. It was rough because my entire life and the dynamic of my life had changed. My kids were 6 and 3. So they were and I'm letting them know, oh, this is so cool and fun. You've got 2 houses and daddy lives over there and I live over here. And we could that age, they didn't really grasp it, but I did. But I had to kind of find my way through it. It wasn't until later that the boys and I were there. We were in our position. I went back to school. I went back to college. And I started to kind of, okay. Oh, so this is who Julie planned to be. The kids started to get older. But during those times when it was rough financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, it was a really, really dark time to only live 10 minutes down the road from my former house. And I think the moment that it kicked in for me that being their mom was being a mother was my strength is when I realized, so it wasn't me. It wasn't our children, because in our leaving, an entire another family moved in, a whole nother mom, 2 other kids. And when I realized that, I said, wait a minute, okay, I can do this one of 2 ways. I can become very DMX, or I can become very Claire Huxtable. I fell somewhere in between. And it just showed me that I didn't even relate to him anymore. I merely related to her. Whatever her position was and however she was entered into our lives. And I got to tell you that this same person, we eventually became where we would all stay and hang out together. Because I looked at her as a mom, as opposed to a woman he was dating during our marriage. I looked at her more that way. And what is she thinking? And what is her intent for coming in? She's merely going off of where he's coming from and what he's saying. She doesn't know me, my sons. So the strength that I started to get through came from totally going in to mom mode. Even after we left and we moved to North Carolina, that still was it. My entire everything, each move that I made, and I have to tell you, they weren't all right. But those were the lessons I had to learn. I had my oldest at 18, so we grew up together. My second at 21, and by 24, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. Yeah, 24 is when all three of us were just the three of us. I'm 24 and a half, so it's that they were the strength that got me to section, each section.
Now, I've directed one of your sons, Brian McKnight Jr., in a feature film, and he's also the award-winning musical voice of this show. And
yes,
he's been very transparent about his journey and about his love and admiration for you. The same can be said of your youngest, Nico, and your love children as well. What's your advice to families facing struggles and challenges, particularly while in the public eye? Because that's a whole different sort of thing.
Let me tell, it's a whole different thing. I think the vibe of just where we are as a people at this point, these 25 to 35-year-old folk have an entire, which includes my older love baby, my sons, they are, this crew of folks have they are understanding that, I don't know if it's because of more being, having access to more information, being, exposed to more circles of friends. Their mentality is different. They're understanding that, no, it's not in a disrespectful way, but we're kind of seeing that this isn't how a family dynamic works. It works for some, doesn't mean it's bad, but let's try to work on it. Let's try to talk to my dad. Okay, if we can't, let's try to talk to my mom. If we can't, the difference, and these last few years of other celebrity children that are coming out and kind of talking about, no, man, this is what we went through. This was our life. It doesn't matter if we were in an 8, 10, 12,000 square foot house. It doesn't matter if you bought me a BMW. It doesn't matter if you bought me this. I needed you to be there. It wasn't about the money. And the misconception is, well, they took care of this, they took care of that. You should just be grateful for that. And that goes back to way, way, way back in the day where, I have to put food on the table. You do what? No, these young folk now are like, no, I really do need more. I needed more from you. And the difference with us is it's happening under a spotlight. And at the moment where, and it wasn't as though all of a sudden we're just going to start writing stuff and and I won't speak on their behalf until they come and they talk to you. But, I can say that there were numerous times where the effort was made on the kids' behalf to try to speak to you directly. And then when it became a point where we're not able to, we don't know how to, and, people, it stacks up. And then, we are in the public eye, which is something one of the things we always I loved being able to have some bit of anonymity with myself and my boys. Even when we left Los Angeles and moved to North Carolina, we were just kind of here. And that was able to give us some normalcy in our life. So they could just be young kids and just be teenagers. Even when we left the house and moved to the apartment the first time, no one knew who that was. No one knew. I was just another mom playing with their kids and hanging out. So it makes it extremely it made it difficult to try to navigate our lives and still be a family and still be a family dynamic that's healthy, that, you know, afforded us the ability to work on the dysfunction that we did have. My sons and I are very clear with saying, no, we have no problem saying it was a dysfunctional situation. And we wanted to have the tools to work on it and move past it. But at the end of the day, the core was always, let's do this together. And the moment it became, you guys are there and I'm here, and it became a right or wrong, you can't really work with that. So this tribe over here just had to say, especially now the grandbabies are here, no, we have to build this, pass the beliefs on, pass the family system on that we know has kept us strong through this point. And that includes all your family.
Julie, you've been on red carpets, in newspapers and magazines, been at prestigious award ceremonies, etc. You were also raised in a very celebrity-heavy environment. Oh, the legends that have dined at your table. But you're a grounded individual. How does one not lose their sense of self in the face of success, whatever that may mean, especially in this day and age? And how were you able to impart that kind of wisdom to your own children?
I have, for me, it goes back to family. It goes back to, even with Muhammad Ali sitting at my table eating my grandmother's biscuits, it didn't mean that our household changed. We were who we were. We were I hate to use this word, but we were the regular family with the way folks would look at coming in. And I think that one of the things with our household and my parents and I go back to my grandmother, who I always grew up understanding that celebrity means absolutely nothing. It just means absolutely nothing. And I mean that to say that most celebrities just kind of want to be able to sit and eat some biscuits and molasses at somebody's table that's not, well, what are you this and what are you that, and what, not in the sense where it's your job and it's what you do, but to have that moment to let it down. And I think that being able to be around, the people that I've been blessed to be around, and I say blessed to have been around them, not because they were celebrities, but because of the lessons they taught me. When I had no idea, then I would then be on red carpets and magazine covers, and that was just with him. But then now, doing things in my own right, I was given the tools to use to stay a person that never forgets that you are absolutely no better than anybody else, no better than anyone else. And you're not the only one with that gift. I'm not the only one that's able to sing. I'm not the only one that's able to write. I'm not the only one that, has the gifts that I was given. I was just seen at a different time. And it kind of pushed me where maybe the sister or brother that was sitting next to me was a couple steps behind in the line. Has absolutely nothing to do with me at all. And I always wanted my sons to understand, because they also remember, being in the company of folks that others may be like, oh my God, you what? And when I started to see them, even after we moved to North Carolina, they became young teenagers. They became old enough, they were homeschooled, so they would stay part of the time at home with me. I would set up an entirely different homeschool type of situation there with their dad. So, because I never wanted them to be estranged from him. I didn't have to agree with anything that his lifestyle entailed, but it's their father. So let's make this work. Let's do whatever we do And I would come to visit, and I started kind of see, some little, we did up. No, flight's leaving. We going back to Raleigh. We need to get a little grounded.
Yeah.
We need to get you back to some, trees and where the air smells different, and go hang out at Crabtree Mall for a little bit, because you're getting this twisted. And I think that balance, as they didn't like it, they were upset about it, but it started to balance out to where they realized, oh, here's real life, and here's this life. How can we kind of balance the two? And at the end of the day, it not be about celebrity, but it be about how your gift is of service to other people. And I'm so proud of them, because I know that they've gotten that now. Well, they got it before, but I could only give them the lessons that I had learned, and try to keep, and just pray, Lord, that they listen to me. And I think they have. I'm proud of them.
I know you are. And Julie, before we part, I have to say you have sort of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of life, in that you have somewhat of a traditional life here in the States and a far more chaotic one overseas. Every time I turn around, you're in a different country.
Planes, high leads, trains, hello Naples, automobiles, hello Ibiza, Ubers, hello Manchester, taxis, Bristol, footwork, Liverpool, I'm here.
How do you balance your life and your career? And what's on the horizon this summer for Julie McKnight?
I test Julie McKnight. Now this is going to sound weird, but I tell you, the truth is, there's really two things. I'm sure there's others, but the two main things that balance my life is the fact that I know that I come back home to North Carolina, which I love, and I take a day off. I just came home this past Sunday. And Monday I'm back at the preschool, where I'm actually, teaching my toddlers. And let me tell you, when you standing there and you just left a crowd of 10,000, and then on Monday afternoon you doing potty training, you stay grounded. You are, but my kids at the school, they just children. And I got to tell you this, Rob, being with these babies at that age also connects me. It gives me that same mama feeling. I'm not their mom, but I understand what their moms are going through, to have to leave. These moms are working. These moms they do not want to leave their 2.5-year-olds. They don't, they walk in. I could be insane. They have to trust me with their most prized possession. And I do not take that lightly. When those babies are with me, I am their mama bear. Somebody can try to come through that room if they want to. Though, my room of children and the kids in the school are, and I know that most teachers, that's our way. So that keeps me grounded. That's one. And just coming back home to my family. Yeah, and I'm not going to cry, because you get me to cry all the time, Barbara Walters, but I'm not going to do it, because, my home, and I come back home to a house that's filled with my mom, my dad, my Nana's here. My 2 baby brothers are here. My brother is here. My other brother and his wife are 10 minutes down the road. My cousins and my aunts and uncles are here. And these are the people that it's not like I have to say, well, they keep me in line. No, it's my safe place. It's because I'm me wherever I am. So it kind of, once I'm back home and back in my space, oh man. And, and aside from that, just always wanting to be the person that my family's proud of. And now, then it turned into that my children are proud of. And now it's that my grandbabies can say, yeah, that's my Gigi. So, it's not that hard, but those are simple things that keep me where I am. I better stay where I am. Or I'm going to hear it.
Well, that is beautiful, Julie. The book is called Mama Bear. The author is Julie McKnight, and I can't wait to read it. I really can't.
Yes.
And thank you, big sis.
Thank you,
auntie,
baby
cousin, everything.
Everything. Every aspect of family. And I'm so proud of you. I just am. I am. And the boys just think you are the man. And I'm like, that's all right. And when we start all of our other things on our acres of production company.
Come on.
That's the dream, and bring everybody in. But, and it will always include kids. It will always, and you are one of the main mentors for our babies, even with the nonprofit, even with everything that we know we can go to, because you are an amazing example.
Thank you, Julie.
And I'm proud of you.
You're not going to get me to cry, though.
That was my best shot.
I'll cry when the camera's off.
There you go.
Make sure to like, comment, and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so you never miss out. RXG Exclusives, hosted by Robert X. Golphin, now playing.